Hi there, it's Dr. Jack Belitz, and welcome to another exciting and informative edition of the Ask Dr. Jack show, where our goal is to answer the questions that you ask. I just got back from an amazing seminar over the past weekend, and I just have so much to share with you. It's going to take me a few weeks to get it all out to you, but I want to start with one of the most informative and exciting ideas that I came across. Now, a lot of this is not necessarily new information for my patients. However, there is some information that's going to really just turn you on edge as to certain things. So let's dig right in. Okay, the subject today is probiotics. Now, we've talked about probiotics a lot in this office. Everybody knows how important I feel they are. But here's some great information for you. Now, they estimate that the average human has approximately 10 trillion cells in their body. 10 trillion human cells in your body. So that's the muscle cells, nerve cells, stomach cells, heart cells, anything that's human. There's about 10 trillion cells. Tons of cells, right? Take a guess as to how many cells of bacterial objects you have within your body. It is 100 trillion. You actually have 10 times as many bacterial cells in your body as you do human cells. I had no idea, and I've been studying this a long time. Nobody has ever pointed that out to me. So I was just floored, and this is one of the big reasons why having a good balance of all the bacteria in your body is so flipping important. And when it gets out of balance, it makes so much sense why something like yeast or other ones can have such an amazingly massive effect negatively on your health. So I thought that was important. Now, I have a lot of people that when I start talking probiotics, they say, oh, got it covered. I take yogurt every day. And yes, you are right. Your yogurt has bacteria in it. In fact, if you look right on the label, it says, generally speaking, somewhere around 50 million cultures per serving. And so, great, but how useful is that is the big question. And so there was a study that was done, and what they did was they went to the source of this yogurt and got the freshest yogurt they could, multiple brands, so they kind of covered the whole spectrum. And on average, they found that this really fresh yogurt had 250 million cultures in each serving. So you're saying, wow, how awesome is that? It's 5 times as many as they promised us. Well, the big question is, why do they put 5 times as many? The answer is because they know so many of them are going to die off between the time it leaves the factory and the time the expiration date is on the container. So they know that those things are dying very quickly and rapidly in the container. So let's say you grabbed a yogurt that was just delivered that morning, you took it home and you ate it. So this yogurt has 250 million cultures in there. How many of those are going to be useful to you? Well, this same study looked at that too. And they came out with an exact number, believe it or not, they came up with an exact number of those cultures that were going to actually be useful to the body. And the actual number is a big fat 0. That's right, nothing, nada. And this is because as soon as those cultures hit the stomach, the acid in the stomach destroyed them. So although you are definitely eating live cultures, it's going through your stomach, it's going to be destroyed. So you're getting basically nothing from that yogurt. Now, realize that that yogurt also has lots of sugar in it. So there's a good reason to not have that yogurt, and that's to avoid the sugar. And the good reason that there was for having the yogurt, we've just debunked. So I hope that gives you a little information that you can use and put together and make a decision whether or not you actually want to buy that yogurt the next time. So that brings us to the next thing. This is why a good quality probiotic is so important, because it has to be encapsulated in something that will get it through the stomach, but then dissolve so that it can let those organisms start proliferating in the small intestine and other places. And so, like for instance, the product that we carry here does exactly that. It can get through the stomach, but then when it hits the area of the gallbladder and the pancreas, the fluids that are putting into the tract at that point are able to break up that capsule, and they go on. So that is definitely one way to do that. However, at this seminar, I found another way that they have just come up with, and that is I'm not sure, a company out there that has figured out how to introduce these microorganisms as spores. So if you know anything about spores, there are spores of bacteria from millions of years ago that under the proper conditions can still become active. That's how amazing a spore is. So even though these spores are completely doused, like for instance with a stomach acid, it will not kill or stop the spore from, when it hits the small intestine or some place where it can thrive, that spore will actually come to life. So, really exciting things in this type of subject, the probiotic. I'm excited to share some of this stuff with you. If you have any issues or questions, know that in this office we are sitting here on the cutting edge of what we're able to offer you. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Ask Dr. Jack Show. I know I went actually over time, but I hope that the information was well worth it. I am, of course, Dr. Jack Belitz, your host. I am a chiropractor here in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm not here trying to give you medical advice. I'm here just giving you great information that you can use to decide and make your own decisions for your health. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next episode.